So back in early February and March, back when coronavirus was first starting to pick up steam, I guess, I made 2 videos talking about the virus and what I thought was gonna happen with it, and broke down some of the statistics and the numbers that were going on at the time. And I watched both of those videos back, and the crazy part here was what I said in those videos kind of holds up still today. I said that people weren't taking it seriously enough and that this was gonna become pretty bad here in the US. And even then I probably still had no idea how bad it was actually gonna get, to where we're still at the end of October. It's Halloween right now, and yesterday they reported the highest number of coronavirus cases in the world, in any country ever since the pandemic began, which is kind of wild because I remember whenever the whole lockdown started in March and everyone had to stay home, there was a period whenever you would get fined. At least where I live, there was a period when you would get fined if you left your house without a mask. And I remember back in March, I saw this tweet that was like, oh yeah, I don't think the pandemic's gonna be over until June. And whenever I read that, I thought that was the craziest idea. I was like, there's no way everybody's gonna stay inside for 3 months. And now, like I said, it's October and the virus is literally worse than it's ever been here in the US. So with all that being said, the reason I'm making this video is because I saw some numbers about how the virus is holding up in the US right now. I saw this yesterday and it was mind-blowing how bad it actually is. And it's not being taken seriously at all. Compared to how it was in March and April, when people wouldn't even leave their house to check the mail and stuff like that. And now it's being treated like there's barely even a pandemic anymore, and it's literally worse than ever. So here's a tweet from yesterday, October 30th, which says, breaking, US reports 100,000 coronavirus cases in 24 hours, setting world record. How is this not the biggest story in the world right now that, coronavirus is out here putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers, just dunking on the entire country like Wilt in 1967. And whenever I saw this tweet last night, I had already known for a couple weeks, I had seen on the news and stuff, that coronavirus had been on an upward trend, but I assumed that it was nothing compared to how bad the virus was back in April or May, because it's clearly not being treated the same, that's for sure. So whenever I saw that we set a world record here over the past 24 hours, I went ahead and Googled a chart from since the pandemic began, and as you can see here, this is not good. The fact that there isn't a second lockdown right now, and there hasn't even been talks of a second lockdown, is wild, because back in April when there was less than 40,000 cases per day, they went ahead and pretty much shut the whole country down. But now that it's 3 times worse than that, everything's open. People are literally going to school right now. People are packed inside grocery stores and stuff like that. It's wild. It makes no sense. But when you think about stuff like that, it makes complete sense how the pandemic has gotten to this point. Bro, there is no way sitting in a classroom with 40 other people right now every day is safe. If you're not on Zoom right now, I don't know what to tell you. Go ahead and write your will. RIP. But on top of that, the US is not the only place seeing a huge surge of cases all of a sudden. If we go ahead and look at the statistics here for the UK, it is far worse right now for them than it's ever been. And they just announced actually that they're gonna go into a second lockdown here in the coming days. So at least in the UK, they're shutting things down and taking some action instead of just acting like nothing's going on. Because literally at the rate the US is going at, right, there's 100,000 cases per day. If it stayed at that rate for an entire month, let's say for the entirety of November, there's 100,000 cases per day. That is almost 1% of the entire population getting infected with the coronavirus in 1 month. 3 million people in a month. That's crazy. So hopefully the US steps in and takes some action here. And honestly, I know a lot of people hate it, but I would not mind at all if there was a second lockdown pretty soon, because it's clearly needed. So with that being said, let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. I know this is kind of a random video, but this is just something that I saw and wanted to talk about because I thought it was mind-blowing that we're 7 months into the pandemic and it's worse than it's ever been. Barely anybody is talking about it. There's no tightening of restrictions. There's no second lockdown coming from the looks of it. It's wild, but like I said, let me know what you guys think down in the the comments. Oh, and happy Halloween. You know, it is Halloween right now. But with that being said, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at RelexYT. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.